So the Lynn Haven City Commission meeting is live right now, and I'm a, I, it looks like the Lynn Haven City Commission is getting rid of, now that they've gotten rid of the mayor Jesse Nelson and the vulgar and vindictive police chief Ricky Ramey and the city manager Vicky Gaynor. It looks like they might be getting rid of the crooked law firm with Amy Whiteout Myers and Kevin Obos and them. Now, I've paused it, so it may have already taken place, but it's basically live. I don't know what happened, so I just wanted to go live with you on this. Now, I'll tell you why I call Amy Myers Amy Whiteout Myers. It was because when I was covering Panama City Beach in probably 2020, they had a situation there where the city stole Lowwater Lake and parks from the from the subdivision, from the people who owned it, according to the plat, the 1962 plat. And the FBI asked for it. And the city attorney, Amy Myers, who had already written memos to the city council in Panama City Beach, that the lakes, all parts of the lakes, all the parks belonged to the owners of the subdivision. Everybody knew it, but Mayor Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas at the time, he wanted a parcel. It was a boat ramp that belonged to the subdivision owners because his son lived right next door to it, and he wanted to put a park there, and they did, Popeye Park, for his grandson, for his grandkids. Now, Mayor Mike Thomas, for all his faults, would be one hell of a grandpa. I mean it. A lot of good things you can say about Mike Thomas, but this was unbelievable. So what did Amy Myers do? She gave an altered version of the plat to the FBI. I'm talking about, there were parts that were whited out and font, 1962 style font, exactly typed over. It was unreal. I covered this extensively in 2021. I went to the city council meetings, and on the podium, I said, you guys submitted, your attorney, Amy Myers, submitted a false copy of the plat to the FBI. Now, it turns out the FBI agent at the time, the special agent Larry Borghini, found out later that he didn't mind. But I sent him an email with all the details, point by point by point by point. It's part of the reason that the city attorney, the city manager, O'Rourke, was fired by Mark Sheldon, who came in later. It's unbelievable. And Amy Myers, on multiple occasions, did not deny that she gave an altered plat to the FBI. That's why I nicknamed her Amy Whiteout Myers. Now, I don't see her at the meeting. I'm about to play it. We're a little behind. It's live. It's already happened, but I'm going to play this. I do not know what's transpired, but we're about to find out. She's not here. She's not up there with the city commission. That is, that's the old attorney. What the hell's his name? I'll think of his name in a minute. Rob Jackson. That's Rob Jackson, the old Lynn Haven attorney. By the way, the guy sitting there, Rob Jackson, he also lied to the FBI about Mayor Margot Anderson. It was in the 302s, the FBI investigation notes. He, along with Ricky Ramey and Vicky, they all lied about Mayor Margot Anderson. We got to get to this. We got to find out, is Lynn Haven getting rid of the law firm? First of all of the cities hire one or two law firms run by Amy Whiteout Myers, run by son Cole Davis. He's got his own law firm now, but they've got like a monopoly on these cities. And they're the same attorneys doing the same bullshit. This is going to be unbelievable. All right. I just had to go live with you. Let's get Oh, I got to put him back. Let's get in here and see. Oh, we're going to be able to do this. I'll thank the sponsors at the end. Okay. Let's get to this. Hopefully I've got this done right and you can hear it. The attorney, by the way, Rob Jackson, is sitting where Amy Myers normally sits, all the way closest to us. And there's the new mayor, Dave Lowry. And Pat Perno looks like he's fallen asleep. He's sitting by the attorney. Maybe he's texting. Let's see.
Thank y'all for that. All right. 14, discussion of city attorney, dual RFP for new contract.
Will you please put in the comment section if you can hear everything, if everything sounds good? Sometimes I mess that up, and I want to make sure I've got it all right. Please let me know. Thumbs up if you can hear everything.
Our in-house counsel advertisement. So I've been on the job a month now, and it readily became apparent to me that now would be a good time to look at different legal support services moving forward. I thank Amy and Myers and Kevin Obos for their service. I sure appreciate Rob Jackson filling in and supporting us tonight. But I really do think we need a new legal direction. I would really like to have more of and being a retired military guy, I would like a little bit more of a JAG officer. What I mean by that is instead of looking at primarily what is the most risky move, what is the most transparent, fair, obvious, legal, straightforward way of doing things. And sometimes you have to get aggressive and go, nope, this is the right thing to do. This is and you have to transparently defend it. But I really do believe I'm looking for more of a JAG officer support. I was a 3-time squadron commander, and the JAG was very much a piece of my leadership team. They keep you, as Jimmy Buffett would say, in between the navigational beacons, legally speaking. Here are your options. Here are your courses. This is what the law says. Now the choice is up to you. And I felt like this would really be an important way for us to go. Let's look at what options are out there. And I would like to look at this in 2 ways. Currently, we have a contract. We kind of have an on-demand contract. I would like to put that out.
Boy, times have changed, Rob Jackson. Look at Rob Jackson. They used to have all of them plotted and schemed to get rid of Mayor Margo Anderson and throw her in prison for 1,000 years. Dude lied to the FBI and got away with it. I can't tell you how much joy I get out of seeing a city, hopefully this is what they're doing, getting rid of a law firm, especially these people.
For a new contract, but I would also like to put out for an in-house counsel, a full-time attorney. What I'm looking at is not just municipality, which is a specialization, but also a variety of very similar specializations. And a case in point, again, retired Air Force guy, so I'm going to talk like an Air Force guy. When you have a base commander, mission support group commander of an Air Force base, they can be a civil engineer background. They can have a communications IT background. They can have a personnelist background. They can be a security forces cop background. Any of those functions can run a successful base commander role. And if they're a cop, they're obviously going to have different skill sets than a civil engineer, but that doesn't preclude them from working those kinds of functions. Thank you, Miss Arlene. I'm sorry I didn't see you, Jerry. So what I'm looking at here is let's look at resource protection. Let's look at contract attorneys. Let's look at HR attorneys. So as well as municipality lawyers. Let's look at all of the garden variety of direct support for a city. Let's look at that here. Let's look at what skill.
The body language is unbelievable. Look at Jamie Warwick. By the way, I'm pissed off at Jamie Warwick again tonight. He's trying to get rid of public comments. Jamie Warwick, he's the third guy to the end, right in front of the American flag. Trying to get rid of public comments. I got to tell you about that later. Let's try to keep up with this. Look at his body. He's uncomfortable. Pat Perno's so uncomfortable. Rob Jackson's wishing it was 2019 or 20 so he could lie about Mayor Margo Anderson to the FBI and get away with it again.
Skill sets are out there. Who's interested in supporting us moving forward as a city as we start this new organizational chapter? And let's go from there. So what I'm proposing tonight, if the rest of the commission will support, is we'll have a draft up of these 2 new requests for proposals. for us to look at our next meeting. And if we are good with them, they will put them out for solicitation and we will see what we get back. In the meantime, I've spoken with Kevin Obos. He and his team will continue to support us until such time as their services are no longer needed.
Whoa.
And he has assured me they will do a proper transition to help whoever we select come on board and get spun up. So that is what I have to propose to the rest of the commission.
I'm just telling you, Pat Perno's freaking out for some reason. Jamie Warwick looks like he's about to pass a kidney stone. You know, I have my theories about why they're so stressed. I think they get leaned on by the cabal, but look at them.
What say ye?
So the current company that we have, are you saying they're not going to RFQ?
That is correct.
Whoa, they're getting rid of them. Amy Whiteout Myers is out.
So your way forward is you're saying you're requesting that we put out 2 proposals, one for in-house. You want to direct staff to put out a proposal to hire in-house and one to bring in contracted as needed.
Yes, sir. I want to throw out 2 nets and let's see what we get. We can go with a full-time staff attorney. That I see a lot of inherent value in that if we get a well-qualified full-time staff attorney. If we don't, well, we can also look at continuing with a new contract. Now, even if
let me give you an example real quick, and then we'll hop back in here. I brought this up about 3 years ago in Panama City. I think they were spending like $2 million a year for Burke and Blue, for Big Boy Mike's company, Burke and Blue, of which Zimmerman, the old attorney that's asleep up there, he works for Burke and Blue. Why not hire an in-house city attorney that's with the city, an employee of the city? Why not do that? And then if you need more help, contract it out. Let's just say you hire an in-house attorney at $250,000 a year, $250,000. Attorneys are expensive. Think of that. Panama City would save more than $1 million a year easy. So they hire them at $250,000 a year, and God, they'd save $1.5 million easy, and have another $250,000 budget for when you got to farm out and get more help. Panama City is purposely fleecing taxpayers. Every city is doing that. And Lynn Haven's talking about fixing it? I can't even. This is unreal. All right, let's get back to this. All right, how do we get back to this? Hold on a second. This? Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Let's go.
if we do hire a new full-time person, people get sick, people need vacation, things like that, right? So we would still need a reservist or at least a backup augmentee. So I could see us potentially hiring a full-time attorney and then hiring a contract law
I'm getting the
firm
coffee
as
pot
a
out.
supporting reserve
Lord, this is good.
capacity, if you will, right? And maybe let's just say whoever we hire, let's just say they're a great HR attorney. Well, then you might want to have that municipality specialization in the background as well to be able to augment based on whatever the needs are that come before the city and our city attorney.
All right. I've got the coffee pot. I've got cornbread. And what I love to eat with cornbread is chocolate morsels. So, I better turn my thing down or you'll hear me chewing. Let's get back to this.
Okay. I just wanted to put some expectation management out there. The average attorney in Northwest Florida makes about $150,000 a year. So if we were to hire an in-house attorney, we're looking at the highest paid employee on staff, and that does not include their benefits package. And most of the time, if attorney is going to come and we're paying them less than the average, then they're just going to leave soon anyways. So I just wanted to throw some expectation management. The difference between, like, I agree with what you're saying with the JAG and how important it is. Big fan of the JAG office. But the difference here is that when you are a JAG officer, and let's say you come in as what rank do you come in as a
Lieutenant.
first lieutenant? So all first lieutenants make the same amount of money. Whereas if we're looking at hiring a city,
Leave it to Sam Peebles to bring me down. I mean, the coffee's getting cold. Now the cornbread's not tasting as good. I mean, Sam Peebles, what a downer, man.
the attorney, we can negotiate prices, which means other firms can negotiate prices, which means that they will likely make more money. So that's just the bit there that's going to be different. That would just some expectation management there.
And Commissioner Peebles, that's a fair input. I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, city manager, but we spent what, $210,000, give or take?
Miss Roman did an average of the past 3 years. It was a $201,000 average for legal.
For the last 3 years, 201 on average for the last three. And what was the highest of those three?
You just did the average of the three.
I want to say the highest was 210. And that would make sense, 201 being the average of the last 3 years. So we're in the same ballpark.
Was that all legal, or is that all legal, or just one company?
That was the
Total.
Arundel. Yes,
Total legal expense, which
Yes.
which
And-
didn't include the
that didn't
the
include
current
our
city
HR
attorney.
attorney.
did
That
not include the
That
HR
did not
attorney.
include the HR attorney. No, sir.
That's
Okay.
This
Picasso's
was
attorney.
for Amy
Remember him?
Myers primarily, and Kevin Obos is back up.
I believe that I asked that question of Kiki a while back, what we had spent total for the year, HR attorney and all of that. And it was a little over 330,000
That sounds more accurate.
That's-
last year.
That was including the HR attorney, which is a different firm than.
But I'm just saying, like you're saying, we would have to have different types of attorneys. Not one attorney's going to know everything.
This is basically a sunk cost of doing business.
Yeah,
Bottom line. We can't operate as a city without well-qualified attorneys.
But you need
Can't really
honesty.
operate without well-qualified police officers. You know, there are certain key core functions, wastewater treatment people, whether we contract or whether we staff ourselves. There are core functions with credentials and
Oh, Chris White.
qualifications we just have to have to do
Chris White
business.
puts dime
And
to
this,
talk. Chief Life
unfortunately, lawyers are
manager.
one of the most expensive, but they're also one of the most essential if you get a good one.
Mayor, I may have said the average was 201 over the last 3 years. That was the last 5 years. I'm sorry if I may have said 3.
And I thought that's what Kiki had said, but thanks for
we
the
want to know
clarification.
the last.
I do
couple years.
believe the highest was last year, and I believe it was 210,000.
No, it's way more
The
than that.
average over the last 5 years, you said, was 201. So we're not
It's
talking a
more than that.
large variation there.
Yeah, that's good data. Thank you.
My God, then why is Panama
going to
City-
want to have a
why is Panama City paying like $1.5 million to $2 million a year? Mayor Alan Branch, what are you guys doing paying Burke and Blue $1.5 million or $2 million a year? Oh my God, these lawyers.
paralegal and an assistant. So you're not talking about one position, but most likely three. And there is the requirement with a entity of this size, the variety of issues that come before a city, that it would be hard. It's just not that we'd have one attorney that could span all the various topics. That's why now
But this law firm's corrupt.
at our size, a firm still is a good fit because they will have attorneys that specialize in land use,
Oh my God.
in labor issues, in sunshine, public
But
information.
you guys suck
And
at.
we can tap into that and they can get us different attorneys to answer our questions.
That's a very fair input, Jennifer. I'm wanting to cast both nets and let's see what kind of fish we catch in the nets in terms of qualified applicants. And then we'll come back and we'll have a very, well-meaning and well-intentioned discussion about what that looks like based on the applicants and the qualifications we have. I do anticipate us getting a lot of interest from outside of Bay County, Walton County, Okaloosa County, Washington County, Leon County even. So I think having some different experiences from different areas within the Panhandle might not be a bad thing. It adds to that breadth of subject matter expertise, to your point. So let's see what we get. if the rest of the commission will support me on this, and I'll have a more formal RFP for us to approve next meeting.
Mayor, so we
Jimmy
have
Ward.
the last one was an RFP. It needs to be an RFQ for the legal team. So we will dust off the old RFP, convert it to an RFQ. We will get that sent out to the commission prior.
That's
But you all
a request for qualification, which comes before the request for proposal. That's what they're talking about. RFP, RFQ.
will have to approve the RFQ package and a job description to post if that's what the commission desires.
Now, RFQ does it include, we'll know an annual price, or we'll know
RFQ does not include
as
pricing.
qualification. It doesn't include a price. So we won't be comparing dollars to dollars, will we?
No, sir.
Pat,
I anticipate the salary, if on the, of course, for the contract, that's obviously going to be different, but on the individual side, I'm going to anticipate this being, to Commissioner Peebles' point, I anticipate this being a $150,000 to $180,000 salary range based on years of experience, qualifications, certifications, all those things.
how about honesty?
But that's kind of the window of what I fully anticipate.
150 to 180 for the lawyer.
Yes.
For the
What
in-house.
about the paralegal? What about the other stuff?
No.
I haven't signed up for that, and I don't know. I get Jennifer's point. They're going to want a support staff, but you can have a good attorney without necessarily all of that up front. And it may be that we build with an attorney first, and then we grow from there. Again, it all depends on what we get. If we get a qualified attorney and we can hire them for 150-ish, the funds, there would be, based on what we're spending now, there would be funds there to fund a paralegal. Right? So we got to look. Just got to see
Wow.
what applies, what do we catch in the application net per se, and then what does that give us to work with?
Perno and Peebles clearly do not want to change. They want the same crooked damn lawyers. And that's the guy right next to the lawyers closest to us. That's Rob Jackson, who lied to the FBI about Mayor Margot Anderson. I think, if I remember right, he said that she was floating on a yacht with James Finch a couple weeks after the hurricane. Now, James Finch has a pretty good alibi. He was in a coma. He didn't get out of the coma or out of the hospital until the very end of October. And there's another little detail. He had sold his yacht. He didn't even have a yacht. He was in a coma and didn't have a yacht. And that dude, I think that's what he said. But he lied to the FBI about Margot Anderson, tried to throw her in prison for 1,000 years. And these so-and-sos are up here talking about, well, what about a paralegal? Look at Pat Perno sitting next to Rob Jackson. And then you've got Sam Peebles, a government contractor who doesn't give a flip about the child protective team exams. And neither does the guy on the other side of the mayor, Jamie Warwick, who in this meeting, and when we're done here, I'm going to go back and show you. Jamie Warwick's trying to get rid of public comments. I mean, public comments is essentially how we got rid of the mayor, Jesse, Doctor of Leadership Nelson, Ricky Ramey, and Vicky Gaynor. And now he wants to get rid of it because he's thin-skinned. He doesn't even, I got to stop. Let's just go back. I'm sorry. This is why when people say Bernie's not very good at what he does, they have a point. They do. I never said I was great at it. As I do this, I get off on tangents and I've already messed up the flow. I'm sorry. Here we go.
So I just want to make sure I understand this. It's a dual RFP, and I know it's supposed to be RFQ, but the RFQ is only for a new contract, right? And then for the in-house counsel, that's just an advertisement we put out as a job advertisement.
Yes, sir. There is no dual RFQ to run. It's an RFQ for legal services and then a job description that will be posted.
Right. So I'll be honest, I don't have a problem looking at both. You know, it's always great to see all our options. I do think the in-house counsel thing, I think it's a pipe dream.
Oh my
And I
God.
think we're going to realize it's going to be a lot more expensive, but you know, let's take a look at it. And then this is kind of, I think, pretty much the last one one that I proposed when I brought this up.
And people
I don't
just so
remember when it
excited to
was,
chime in. Look,
4 or 5 months ago.
they want to kill this idea.
You actually gave me the idea, and I can't take credit for this. I was sitting there right where Jody Moore is sitting tonight when you proposed this, and I thought, you know what, that's a pretty good idea. So I do take notes. I do talk a little funny, but I can take good notes. So
Wait, what?
that's my.
Wait, what? Did Mayor Lowry just say that Jamie Warwick had proposed having an in-house attorney at one point? Look at Jamie Warwick's body language. Man, how come? Please look at this. The two people who want an honest law firm, the mayor and Judy Tinder, look at them. Everybody else is sitting almost exactly the same. Rob Jackson, Pat Perno, Sam Peebles, Jamie Warwick just got called out. And down on the end, Chief Lightfoot. I think they're also going to be deciding if they want a new city manager or who that's going to be. Interim Lightfoot, my understanding is, doesn't have the educational qualifications, but he's hoping to get the high-paying gig. And he's the one who said earlier, oh, well, if we hire an in-house attorney, he'll be the highest-paid employee. Well, he's trying to become the highest-paid employee. Chief Lightfoot down on the end.
That's what I'm proposing to the rest of the commission here.
Wow.
Any other questions,
No
discussions,
support.
concerns?
My thoughts are almost exactly what Commissioner Warwick just said. I think it's kind of a pipe dream, but I'm willing to look at anything.
Wow.
At this point, we need to have the services, so let's look at the options.
Appreciate that. Commissioner Perno?
I'm okay with whatever your consensus is, but I am not a fan of spending more money than we already spend now.
Oh, yeah, right.
And that's I know there's nuances and different feelings to factor into this, but when it comes down to it, I feel like my responsibility to the city of Lynn Haven is to make sure Lynn Haven doesn't spend as much money as it needs to, when it can overspend on something when we're not spending that much right now.
How's Pat Perno done so
Why do we
far?
have to go out and spend more?
Yes, sir.
Well, if we're spending more to get more, okay, but that's where I'm gonna lay my cards.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate that. I just say if we're spending 210,000, let's say, and I believe that was the number. Kiki's not here tonight, but I believe the number we spent on legal services for our primary contract was 210. So if we're going to continue with that, and I don't know, plus 3% over the next year, or even hold the same number, 210. If we are spending the same amount, how can we get the best bang for our buck? And what's in the best interest of the city?
There we go.
That's what I want to look at.
The second.
What will it cost us to advertise this?
It doesn't cost us anything. And my thought here was I'd go to Evergreen, who's already doing a study, and have them pull some stats from other cities that they've done work for. $150,000 is going to have an effective salary of over $200,000. So just so you know that. And that's when I say effective, that's all the benefits and the pension and those types of things that we pay.
But it won't cost us to actually advertise and explore.
I mean, we already have an application where we could do that. I have to advertise it as a possible or pending position because you all would have to grant the positions. It's posted as a
Pat Perno looks like he's in mourning. The guy sitting next to the attorney closest to us. You know who I'm most pissed at, honestly? It's always Jamie Warwick, because I had so much hope for the guy. He used to come on the show, make all these promises about transparency. He painted himself out as the finance expert guy, the numbers guy. And when he was out asking for votes, Vicky Gaynor and Ricky Ramey threatened to arrest him for knocking on doors. And then as soon as he got elected, he started doing anti-transparency stuff. And I mean, he's done some good stuff too. Without him, Vicky Gaynor would still be there. And he did he did do his best until Mayor Jesse Nelson beat him up for 10 or 15 minutes in a row. Remember when he psychologically terrorized Jamie Warwick, and Jamie Warwick crying on the dais? God, that's who I'm. The guy who once said we should have an in-house attorney. I'm telling you, I think these guys get leaned on so hard. Unbelievable. Mayor Lowry is not getting the support that I thought when I went live that he would get.
Possible opening or a possible pending opportunity.
All the reasons
When you
why.
just said you already have an application for this job?
No, we have a software application. that
Oh,
we
okay,
use.
great.
Any other discussion among the commission? Not, do I have a motion?
I think it's just staff direction to bring you all an RFQ and a job description for the next meeting for you all to vote on.
Oh, I think we're in violent agreement here. Let's look at what we got, what we can get, and we will go from there as a team. All right.
Come on, Judy.
Mayor, was there a motion and are you
It
said
said I
going to
didn't,
bring it back to
Yeah.
the commission?
so no motion needed. All right. Before we go to public commentary, we had an ad here, number 16, current status of the city manager hire. And what I will do first off, and Commissioner Perno, you asked for this, so sir, I'll defer to you, but would you like for Jennifer to give a quick update since she's kind of spearheading?
I think if I remember right, Pat Perno is hoping to keep Chief Lightfoot. It's like the people who were there that still don't want a total cleaning up of this place. They want to keep the remnants like Chris Lightfoot. I feel like Pat Perno's got stuff he needs to hide. And evidently Jamie Warwick. That's how it looks to me. If I had to guess, and that's all it is Jamie Warwick's just, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
At this point, give a formal update.
Yes, you all have been very informative and helpful in trying to set up the virtual interviews. The time just ran out. We were attempting to do it tomorrow, but in order to get all of your schedules clear, it was too difficult. Therefore, I'd like to recommend Monday, March 16th, which is in just 1 day shy of 3 weeks.
What they're talking about right now is the guy at the very top. That's Chris Lightfoot. He's the interim city manager, not qualified really with the educational qualification, but he's the interim city manager. They need to get a full-time city manager, and the same usual suspects, Pat Perno, Sam Peebles, and I guess Jamie Warwick. Instead of bringing in somebody new, they're doing their damnedest to keep these people still there.
That's the next target for setting up the virtual interviews. I can come back with another grid and a time period using the same process, unless you all want to discuss changes to that process. That process, again, is to set up 4 specific rooms where we would have the virtual links. You all would go from room to room. Am I back on? Yes, thank you. But I think that would give us enough time. If the 16th is good for all of you and you can clear your calendars, then I will contact the candidates and let them know their time and get them available. If there's a problem with the 16th, we can discuss it now, or tomorrow you can let me know so we can get the next date ready to go.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would highly, highly like to recommend that we do this the way it was done last time, where we have the candidates, we only have 4. They come into this room or any other room. The others wait outside while we ask all the questions right here in front of them and in front of the public
That's
to
right.
become totally transparent, get our answers, and we vote at the end. We don't have to go from room to room or do any virtual anything. We ask the questions, we see how they answer, and at the end it's over. And what Jamie said last time was true. We did have one person who the wife used her phone to call the husband who was waiting out back, but that's curable. All we do is take the 4 candidates' phones and set them right here. Tell them they can have them back when we're done.
Thank you.
And each candidate just comes up one at a time. We ask and we're done instead of spending the entire day. And it also becomes totally transparent at that point.
And this process was to get you to those top candidates.
Right.
Because they're not all local.
Right. You have 2 local, right? Or 3?
3 local and 1 out of state.
Mhm.
So to do that, you're bringing in someone out of state that maybe you might not at some point. So this was
So what? Do it. You got to spend money like
down
nothing.
to a top
God.
2 potentially.
Right? And originally there were 5. One had just
You notice when they don't want to spend $800 or $1,500, they act like two grand is going to break the city, but these guys are always voting to spend millions of dollars. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot to hide, clearly, still in Lynn Haven.
a retired full bird Coast Guard captain had just accepted another position and took himself out of the running. So of the top 5, we're down to 4 of those left.
Correct. And you all, it was discussed if you wanted to have public in those meetings, they couldn't engage in the interview process, but they could be, we would make the space for that.
Observers.
Yes,
It would be, yeah, it
observers.
would definitely be transparent. There's a lot in body language. There's a lot in, a lot of things when you're watching somebody right in front of you
Look at the attorney
versus
Rob Jackson whispering.
having it be virtual. And I like that idea instead of just dilly-dallying and spending all
No
day.
more dilly-dallying.
Just a point of order. I don't mean to interrupt, but it'd be nice if when people here are speaking, if we could see them up on the screen, because it's easier to understand what they're saying if we can see them.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Miss Arlene. Thank you for that. IT, did you hear that? Okay.
So one thing, let me show you something that they're doing in Lynn Haven, and it's probably Jamie Warwick's idea. The guy who's trying to have less and less and less transparency. You see the screen above them? The shot is very tight. You can't see any of the audience. They used to have behind them so you could see all the audience. But they don't like you to see the audience because the audience's body language is often very upset at these people. So what they have done over the last few meetings is squeeze that shot so that it's so tight you don't see anything but empty seats or knees. Maybe knees or crotches. Maybe a belly. That's all they'll let you see. Some knuckles maybe. That's about it. And so Arlene, a lot of the audience, they really can't hear because the microphones suck. And so she says, look, when someone's talking, can they just like show it on the screen? No, they're trying to hide so much. I know that it's live and they're on there, but they're always changing stuff. It's always to make it harder to see and to hear and to find. Never easier, never more.
We're going to try to support that, Miss Arlene. Okay, so just to clarify, this is the first phase. We've got 4 candidates. 3 are local. 1 is in North Carolina. And our attempt
This is for the city manager now. For the city manager they're talking about.
is to whittle down to the top 2 for a formal interview, public, all of us, open general to the public at large, and go from there. 3 of them are local, so that's not a problem. The 4th one, being from North Carolina, if they're not in the top 2, there's no reason for the city to pay for their airfare down to interview. So that was the big crux. Plus, we all get our individual flavoring. I will actually have 3 members of the public supporting me, being flies on the wall, that is. And they can come out and share their opinions of what they heard and saw when they're done. But they can validate, yep, Mayor Lowry asked the exact same questions to all four, and number 1 and 2 hit it out of the park, 3 did okay, and 4 just crashed and burned, or whatever the case may be, right? That's the intent of observers, to let them come out.
Did you hear that? I've never heard anything like this before. So far, the new mayor, Dave Lowry, is pushing for more. He said he wants observers when they do these interviews. Why? Look at Pat Perno. Pat Perno's turned his chair, and now he's mourning that way. Their body language is unbelievable. Look at Peebles. They're like, oh no, you're going to have observers? The public's going to get to watch. Even Jennifer Hodges in the little box there. Jennifer Hodges wants to be where Chief Lightfoot is, the city manager up at the very top in the red shirt with his chin in his hand. She wants that job, but she didn't get it. She's mad. She's good friends with Vicky Gaynor. She's the one always pushing to charge for public records. She charged Judy Tinder, Commissioner Tinder, $60-some for public records. Judy Tinder is the only commissioner ever to be charged for public records. None of them get charged for public records. And they tried to charge Judy Tinder. I can't, man. Thank you, Mayor Lowry. Observers. We need more observers. Very good.
Say it was open kimono. It was a fair process. They were consistent. So little transparency never hurt us in that regard.
That's right.
So, and if any of you commissioners want to do that, you want to invite members of the public to come, and I actually had volunteers after our last meeting. So
look at Jamie Warwick. Guy's the worst, man. Jamie Warwick could be the person who helps the city the most. He could be the third vote for more transparency. But I know him so well from these meetings. That's how he sat when he got berated by the old mayor, Jesse Nelson. Remember when he kept saying, do you feel ostracized? Remember he said ostracized like 16 times or something? Why do you feel ostracized? And then he would sit like that. That is the body language when Jamie Warwick is extremely uncomfortable. Why is he so uncomfortable?
I took them up on their offer. Commissioner Perno, you had asked for this update. So is there anything more you want to discuss there, sir?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. I just wanted to ask the commission. We've gone 8 months or more now with the gentleman as our city manager, interim city manager.
He wants
doing the job as city manager, and in the meetings I've attended with him since he's been the interim city manager, he's been articulate in answering questions to everyone on every issue coming up here. He's been prepared. I see in him someone who can lead our city as the city manager into the future. We have a new police chief, Chief Blanchard, who's about to hit the ground running here. Mayor Lowry, you're in just your third meeting. I just see someone who lives amongst us who's doing a great job. I don't want to discredit any of the other candidates who are thinking about it, but I've said this before. I feel like we have the guy in front of us. If you guys could see it possibly that we can give him a short-term contract and assess him going forward. That's my feelings. Why
does Pat Perno, I think I know, by the way. Why does Pat Perno so desperately, as one of you just used the word, so desperately want to keep Amy Whiteout Myers and her law firm and keep Chris Lightfoot? Why? Something's up with Pat, man. Somebody just asked me today about Pat. And I said, he's so nice, such a nice guy. But I can't help but think he's in on it.
I'd love to discuss it, and because I'm the only one who's come on and said it this way, and I think there's support or there's feelings that I'd like to get out right now, so we can move on this, because he is the tops ranked of all the candidates, and he's on the list of most of us or all of us, is so I mean,
He really wants him.
we could dispense of a lot of the things that we're embarking on with somebody coming down from North Carolina or someone else, if we can just move forward right now.
Move forward. Move forward, Jesse.
I'd like to know how y'all feel about that.
Move forward together, huh, Pat?
We'll just go down the line among the 4 commissioners. Commissioner Peebles, you want to say anything, sir?
So,
Oh, here we go.
I thought this is, we've already lost one candidate because we're taking forever. Another candidate just got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Just got fired.
This is not to say Mr. Lightfoot would do this.
Wow. Hold on. I know what he's talking about. This is so scripted. I don't want to ruin the flow and explain everything to you, but I know this is so scripted. Holy moly. What an opportunity Lynn Haven had tonight. But the cabal was able to really get a hold of and it's all going to come down to Jamie Warwick. That's why he's holding his head and so stressed out.
But it's not like he's just auditioning for just us. There's other municipalities seeing what he's doing. And if they like him and offer him more money, there's a possibility that he could leave.
My God.
We got to make a decision ASAP is my main point. We got to stop pushing things down the road. I know that we've said that on other issues, it's cliche. Whatever we do though,
he's always been the guy. I mean, it's so hard to watch these people. Peebles has always been the guy who said, let's not act quickly. Let's not be rash. Let's get all the data. Let's do all the interviews. Let's take forever. And then maybe we can make a decision together. Look at the attorney. Look at the attorney. They've got Rob Jackson here, the guy from the guy from the Mayor Margot Anderson days. God, the body language up here is so bad. None of these people want to be there. They all are just trying to get through this meeting and trick the people. I think if you look next to Judy Tinder in the blue shirt, there's Jamie Warwick. He's still passing a kidney stone, I think.
My main point is that we need to make a decision as soon as possible. And
he's never said as soon as possible. This is a first. We got to do it now. Do it now. And look at Chris Lightfoot up there.
If that means, we do not need to go past the 16th. If we are going to do the 16th, that's when we make the decision. But I mean, even if we want to make the decision before that, we make the decision before that. We do not need to go past the 16th. I do not want to lose any more qualified candidates. We spent a lot of time on this. So, and we've all seen the rankings of how we rated everybody. I think it was Commissioner Perno's.
Hold on, I gotta point something out. I don't know what this is. Look, I don't know what this is. When you research the school teacher, okay, look, dude, I don't know who you are. I'm about to ban you because I get trolls on this page that try to post stuff that the sheriff is now on the news monitoring this page for anything that might be, I don't know, inflammatory, dangerous, trying to paint Bernie Thompson into dangerous. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Whoever this account is, I'm going to delete this comment. Okay. You might know something that I need to know and I need to report on. Send me an email, BernieThompson@protonmail.com. Okay. But if I see another just random comment like this, I have to ban you. I don't want to do that. But there is a movement afoot to paint me in a dangerous light. All right. So I got to figure out how to ban or block, delete that comment. Please don't post any shit like that again. Okay. Oh, there's Snyder. Oh, there they go. So this is probably the Goggins actor looking dude. I see what's going on. So I think these are the Munchkins, by the way. I think this is the Munchkin podcast. I think this is the little dark-haired Munchkin. Got it. These are the guys who keep posting. Wow. And by the way, they always set themselves up so good. They don't know what I'm doing, which is why I haven't banned them. Oh my God. It's going to be glorious. Gonna be glorious. So I think what needs to happen, if you'll just give me a moment. I don't know if this is the Munchkin podcast. Remember the guy was the 5'3" guys who was screaming all the time on the podcast and all that crazy stuff. I don't know, but I have to. I got to just block them. It's not Snyder Ellison's been here long enough. I've already got the data I need on him, so you're gonna have to create another fake account there, Alex. That's the last of you. And so, Sheriff Ford, since you're monitoring the page, all right, for domestic terrorism, you see what happened there? Put that in your report. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right. I don't know. All right, I thought I banned them. How come they're still showing up there? Okay, blocked. Blocked or banned? I thought I banned them. Block user. Hold, just give me a second here. I got to take care of this. Oh, delete the comment too. Okay. See, Sheriff Ford, I'm being good. Can't even tell you how much these people, they're so deceitful, and they try their little bullshit techniques. You know, the same techniques they've used for a long time. But I can't wait to tell you some stuff down the road. All right, let's get back to it. I'm so sorry about all this. Here we go.
Number one was Mr. Lightfoot.
Talking about the city manager. Oh, here we go. What's this one? Okay, what's this one? Another account I haven't seen. Look at that. Oh, that's why emails don't go through. Ford and the boys keep making threats. Ford and the boys keep making threats because they're monitoring. All right, I'm gonna let that slide, Leroy. But be cool, man. All right, don't be making my life more difficult to show you guys this stuff. Let's get back to the Sam Peebles and Pat Perno trying to get Chris Lightfoot the job as city manager for a couple $100,000 a year to replace Vicky Gaynor permanently. Let's get back to it.
Mr. Lightfoot was my number one. Number one for Mayor Lowry, and Commissioner Warwick just got fired from his job. I don't know why he got fired yet. That hasn't come out yet. So
Actually has, and we can discuss it.
but anyways, that's just my thoughts, just throwing them out there. We got to make a decision soon.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm going to go down to you two, and I'll be the caboose. But Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, I agree with the process. It's taken a long time.
Oh, that's the
And
so they all have the talking point. We've got to act now. And Warwick and Peebles, look at them. They all have their talking points, man. And look at the attorney, Rob Jackson, up there. All right, everybody's doing what they're told. These guys, who tells them what to say? The plan is we got to act quickly. We got to act now. All the people who always take a long time, get all the research. We'd better make a good decision later than make a bad one quick. Now they're all saying the opposite of what they've always said. This is so telling.
And because I think it's taken a long time, we're losing people. I'm going to bring up something that it's probably not going to be fun to talk about in the commission, but the thing I don't understand, and I probably should have brought this up at the last commission meeting when we had the top 5, is
this is the guy who earlier today, is trying to get rid of public comments at Lynn Haven meetings. Jamie Warwick, trying to get rid of public comments on items not on the agenda. Just when you go up at the beginning and you can talk about whatever. He's trying to get rid of those because he knows that the public's not going to like this little play that the three of them are doing against the new mayor's effort to reform the legal team and the city manager?
We all, and I know this was before your time when you became mayor, but you watched the process. We all sat down with HR and we gave them the requirements, the criteria, all those things. Gave them all that. And then we agreed that we'd have a Tiger team. And that Tiger team spent hours looking at all those applications and determining, based on the criteria that we established as the commission, who qualified and who didn't qualify. Now, if there are disagreements as far as whether someone that's not qualified that should be, to me, that should have been brought up on the dais. And if you really felt strongly about that, give that person a fighting chance of, for that position. I honestly, I went through all the applications myself also. And there was a couple questions.
Wait. This is very important. Put a pin in this. How far are they in this meeting? This looks like it's at about, oh man, I can't tell. Please remember this. Jamie Warwick just said, I'm about to have a conniption. I am about to flip out. Jamie Warwick just said, I went through all of the applications. How did you get all the applications, Jamie? Well, he did exactly what he should do. He should get them from the city and analyze all of them. Well, that's what Commissioner that's probably why she's making that face. That's what Judy Tinder tried to do. She made a public record. She had to make a public record request to the city. I'm trying my best not to cuss. And they said they charged her. This Chris Lightfoot, the guy that they're all trying to look at the lawyer. Look at the lawyer at the bottom. Oh, you can't see him. I got to just show you this real quick. Look at the lawyer. That's Rob Jackson. They all know. All of them should have access to the applications for the next city manager. Judy Tinder was denied that. Well, she had to pay for it. The only commissioner in the history of Lynn Haven who ever had to pay for it, which is unbelievably improper. And Chris Lightfoot did that. Chris Lightfoot made that decision, and he's the one who stands to benefit from it. This is unbelievable. He just said, I went through all the applications. I got to follow up on this. I can't believe how corrupt these people are. Jamie Warwick should be recalled. Because the other guys, Peebles already said he's not running again. Perno, I don't think is running again. But Jamie Warwick is an opportunist. He's a ladder climber. He's trying to please the powerful. Doing things like this. Let me tell you something, what he ought to do. If he had any integrity as a commissioner, he would have said, when this came up, because it did, I stood at the podium and brought it up. He should have said, look, I've got to say something here as a fellow commissioner. All of us should have equal access to the applications and to anything, since we're representing constituents. We should be able to see everything. All right. Obviously not social security numbers. Okay. I get it. But they should be able to see these applications, all of them. He should have stood up for her, but he didn't stand up for her. He let everybody sit there and complain and say it's not right that Judy Tinder was charged, and he didn't stand up and say that. Look, that's what makes me even more angry than the people who are robbing the town blind, the people who are bullies. It is that. It is the men who do not stand between the bullies and the thieves and the crooks and the good people, especially when they're women and children. That is what makes me so angry. He never stood up and said she should get that. And now he's talking about, I read all the applications. You should, but you also should make sure your fellow colleagues do. This is so bad to me. This is the kind of thing, I know I get mad at things you don't get mad about. I get upset with things that fire me up when other people just go, Bernie, that's not a priority. I already know I'm weird like that, but this is infuriating.
I asked HR and I got my answers and I was like, okay, I understand. So I don't understand why we pick people that weren't not qualified. And I still feel that way. And so to me, once you take them, the ones that are not qualified out of the running, that leaves down to 2 people. And I struggle with that.
He struggles with a lot.
And so that's where I think we are.
Let me guess. We need to make
whenever
a
you
now.
And so since we want to talk,
I predict one of them is going to make a motion to hire Chris Lightfoot as the city manager right now. They already know because of the discussion. They already know they have 3 votes. They can do it. And Jamie's just putting on a performance right now about, oh, it's just really hard. It's so difficult because people work so hard in the process. Now, all the people who talk about how important the process is, they want to throw the process aside, make a quick decision, and then deal with saving this corrupt, crooked ass law firm.
about this.
Watch.
Now I talk with the department heads.
Oh, okay, Jimmy.
Hey, how's it going? How do you think the city's going?
Mm.
And I can tell you, since Mr. Lightfoot's been in office, the morale has increased quite substantially.
Obviously.
And I get inputs of, I feel empowered to do my job. I don't feel like I'm micromanaged.
That's your standard?
I'm given leeway to do my job.
So Jamie Warwick is basically saying, look, we used to have a tyrant in here who micromanaged everything and wasn't qualified at all in Vicky Gaynor. All right. So now Lightfoot comes in and he is likable. People do like working with him. I've heard that from a lot of people. So now Jamie Warwick's main criteria, even though he doesn't have the educational requirements, Chris Lightfoot, Jamie Warwick's main criteria is, well, he's better than Vicky Gaynor. Therefore, one of them will make a motion, watch, and the other 2 will vote. And they're going to try to just get this done quickly. They've got the momentum right now. They know they've got the 3 votes. They might even save the crooked attorneys.
And so they feel like the direction of the city is going the right direction and that they have a high level of confidence in Mr. Lightfoot. And that's the feedback I'm getting. And so the way I feel about this is the day that we hired Mr. Lightfoot as interim city manager is the day that his interview started. And I think that's where you're at, Commissioner Perno. So,
here's the.
And I did talk with the mayor from Spring Lake, North Carolina. I only got one side of the what happened with that.
So here's what they're talking. I need to explain what they're talking about. So a candidate who is highly qualified and who really would be the right candidate, it looks like to me, to be the next city manager is in Pennsylvania. He was focused on more on infrastructure, that kind of stuff. This guy, the commission voted because the city managers work at the pleasure of the commission, the council. And so a majority of them voted him out. And they are saying that they fired him, which it's one of those things where it's true. It's true in a sense, but it is painting a negative light where there might not be one. Listen, a city manager in Lynn Haven, you want to know what kind of city manager in Lynn Haven you should have? Somebody focused on infrastructure. Somebody with qualifications, somebody who hasn't been there in the past, and somebody who hasn't lied from the dais time and time again. So now they all are saying that the other candidate was fired. You know, I'm going to laugh my ass off. I mean, we've got enough lawsuits in the world, for God's sake. I'm even in one. But the way they're painting this guy out is not accurate. And it sounds so much. I've seen this play in Mexico Beach. I've seen this kind of play, theatrics in Panama City Beach. Oh, God, in Panama City, the worst is Josh Grand Inquisitor Street, the Grand Inquisitor Josh Street, when they were all trying to paint out Doc Rowan, the mayor. I don't even want to say it. They were making the most unbelievable criminal accusations and moral accusations against him. And they all had their talking points just like this. I know it. I recognize it. I see it. I know the little plays. This is so disgusting. Jamie Warwick, he's the worst to me. He's the worst.
I don't know. I called the others. I didn't get any. I couldn't get a hold of them. And I tried.
They're all sitting there trying to paint.
So I don't know what the other side of the story is,
guy.
which puts doubt in my mind. And whenever you hire an outside person, it is a risk, right? And so we're kind of facing where we got good continuity, stability going on versus looking at a person that is on the outside. And you know this, whenever you hire somebody, the resume may look really good. They may interview really good, but then once they get into position.
Why are they all arguing against somebody who they haven't even had the interview yet? Why are they doing that? I'm eating, if you don't know, because I thought this was going to be a glorious night. I went live just for this. I did a whole pot of coffee. What kind? Cafe Bustelo. All right. Old school, on the flame percolator. Okay. I've got, God, I'm so pissed off. I've got chocolate chip morsels, cornbread. I love cornbread and chocolate chip morsels with my coffee. It's just whenever I'm celebrating. But they've just really brought me down. I got to get that song, Bruce, Don't Bring Me Down, from the 80s. I mean, the coffee's cold. The cornbread's just flaking all apart now. Almost as if the vibrations coming off here is just ruining everything for me.
And it may not come out the way that you think it does. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Commissioner Tender.
I say we do the interviews the way we were supposed to from the get-go.
Thank you.
Make it public, make it transparent, and be done with it.
As always, she's on.
So I will, this is my third meeting. The 20th is a 1 month on this. Thank you. So I've been on the job a whole month now. And I appreciate the 4 votes that I had and the confidence you had in me. I'm honored and privileged to serve with y'all. I'm proud to be here. And I want to do my best to help Lynn Haven as an organization. Also had I had a very different professional background from the last mayor, and not throwing any shade at him. He was a minister and I was a political science, public administration, org leadership kind of academia professor and retired Air Force guy. So we very, very much came from different perspectives. So, but when I was sitting out there in where Jody Moore's sitting tonight, which was kind of my normal seat, you guys advertised for a city manager with a master's degree. Y'all literally said that y'all were looking for that level of experience.
Fantastic.
Mr. Lightfoot, who I like very much, has an associate's degree. He doesn't even come close to meeting the requirements of what y'all sent out for. So I agree he's done a hell of a job. I think Jennifer Hodges would have done a hell of a job too.
Look at Jimmy Work's body language.
Moved her and put Chris in place.
Perfect points.
Both have done a great job. We've advertised. I was not part of that process, but I'm in it now with y'all. And I want to ride this out and be fair and consistent. We called out, we applied, we've culled down from 98 to now 4. We have those 4. I can dive into the qualifications. It's actually one, if you're talking about me, with Mr. Zach Detweiler, where it was literally, is it federal experience or is it local municipal experience when you're a FEMA person on the ground in a disaster zone, working hand in hand with local city and state and county.
Look how emotional Jamie Warwick is. I mean, the guy is just rocking and self-soothing and and he prides himself in being Mr. Spock, right? He always wants to be the logic guy. But he's so unbelievably emotional.
County organizations to repair after a major disaster. HR and I saw that very, very different. I was very confident in making my assessment. I have a PhD in human resources. I have over 20 years of federal HR experience. I can spell HR, and I know experience when I see it in a resume. But that was just a difference of opinion. But that being said, we have these 4 applicants. Now, for Commissioner Peebles' point about Commissioner Warwick and I's number 1, his name's John Rory. And he is the gentleman from North Carolina that should be interviewing with us on the 16th. He's been a city manager 3 times. He does have the master's degree y'all said y'all were looking for, a master's in public administration.
Look at Pat Perno still grieving. This is unbelievable. All of them said, we want a master's degree guy. I've seen this so many times. Can I just tell you real quick? So they did this in Panama City Beach. I went up before they hired the police chief, Drew Whitman, who has like a high school degree. 3 weeks before they did this, after they fired Tony O'Rourke because he was telling the truth and and talking with the FBI. And Mayor Mark Sheldon called an emergency meeting and had everybody fire him. This was in 2021. And I said, and then they made a big show like this. Well, we're going to send out an RFQ, request for qualification. We want a guy who's this, that, and the other. And then I got some tips from deep on the inside. And they said, it's going to be Drew Whitman, Police Chief Drew Whitman. How much am I going to tell you about this story? All right, I'm going to make it quick. The details are unreal. But he only had, and everyone said to me, it can't be him. He doesn't have the qualifications. I said, they're going to change it. I already know. They did. I'll tell you part of what I can tell you. I spoke with top law enforcement, and I said, this was prearranged. Actually, the top law enforcement told me it appears to be prearranged. And we can't talk about it on an open line. What? You all know? They do this. They did it in Mexico Beach. And that didn't work out real well for that situation. They always do this. They always change at the last minute. Look at them. They always change at the last minute, but they never get called out quite like Dave Lowry. Mayor Lowry is calling them out right now. They do the same thing every time to get their insider in there. I'm sorry. Take it away, Mayor Lowry.
He's been a successful city manager 3 times. And our last city meeting, and I'm not trying to speak for him, I'm just advocating. Here's the other. I really see it. You know, these 4 candidates, here are 2. And one is the interim city manager with an associate's degree, 8 months, been doing a great job. The other one, 3-time city manager, just got booted out on a 3-2 vote. And go Google his name, John Rory. You'll see the local news coverage up there. They interviewed one of the 3 that booted him out. There are 3 new commissioners that stepped up, and they voted to fire him because he was pushing them to modernize their infrastructure. His mayor got up and said, this guy's phenomenal. You just hurt our city, kicking him out. And so one of the local reporters up there literally asked one of the 3 voting commissioners on a 3-2 vote, why did you fire him? And what was your...
By the way, how is it that the other commissioners who said, Jamie Warwick, I really tried to research the guy. I really tried to research the guy running against Chris Lightfoot, but it was so shady. I couldn't find anything out. But Mayor Lowry somehow has watched news stories about him. Yeah, I got a feeling, Jamie Warwick, you really didn't. You guys are just actually. Is this even legal? For a city commission that is going to vote to hire, you got a guy going through the process legally, going through all of your requirements to get an interview, and you guys are all up there saying he got fired, painting him in a negative light before you even interview him? This is not a private company. This is a city commission. Two of these guys are government contractors, Jamie Warwick and Sam Peebles, government contractors who moonlight as city commissioners. And they're trying to impede the process, saying we got to act quickly. It's unbelievable, is it not?
Methodology in appointing the replacement. Her exact quote, you can hear it. It's actually recorded. We didn't really have any thoughts on that. We really didn't have any plans going forward on what we were doing here. We just kind of winged it. I'm paraphrasing that, but she literally said we winged it. We went in without a plan and just did this. So, and the mayor literally said in her interview, you're just giving another city an opportunity to hire a rock star. And this guy's got 30 years of city management experience. So I'm all about us interviewing the four we got. Chris knows everybody. He's immediately plug and play, and he's done a hell of a job. Do I believe he could do a very good job if we hire him on the spot on the 16th? Yes, I do. Do I feel like we have other very strong applicants, one in particular, Mr. Rory, that could absolutely plug and play? I don't know the fourth individual. I've just seen her resume. I'm looking to hear from her. I'm looking to hear from Mr. Detweiler as well.
Exactly.
But we're down to four. I agree, Commissioner Peebles, that we should really, if we can do this on the 16th, let's do this.
Look at the attorney.
My only question back to you, Jennifer, is
God.
Based on this.
Did you see that? The attorney, Rob Jackson, got a text, and then he looked out in the audience at who texted him. Dave Lowry does not yet know the pit of vipers he is standing in. But I suspect he'll be a quick learner.
If we re-wicker, so we originally were going to,
Rob Jackson.
we wickered it down to a top five.
Rob Jackson is communicating right now with somebody in the audience. Who's sitting over there?
And the intent was to get it down to a top 2 or 3 we could do in public interviews.
He's saying, look at his phone. Watch Rob Jackson.
The mood to get this done
Someone's texting him.
is rapidly rising, right? I think we're all in violent agreement there. How can we re-wicker this to do, instead of a 2-phase, go from 4 to 2? Let's just go ahead and do a 1-shot. Let's take out the second phase. Let's just do it all at once.
All right. He's going to look at his phone again, I bet. Somebody's communicating with him right now, with Rob Jackson. And he's trying to be slick about it.
Once. If we're going to do this on the 16th, by golly, let's go ahead and figure out the best way to do this publicly. We'll interview all 4. Instead of trying to do the Zoom and all that, let's bring in the 1 candidate from North Carolina, the 3 locals. To Miss Commissioner Tender's point, let's just go ahead and do it all at once.
Jamie Warwick.
And by the time we're done on the 16th, assuming we can agree on a selectee, we will have a new a new city manager selected.
Mayor,
Y'all good with that?
No, sir. May I speak?
Look, Pat Perno is about to make the motion. They've been told what to do, these people. They've got the 3 votes. They're about to run over the mayor. The one thing about Dave Lowry, I've talked to him a few times, extensively. And one thing I can tell you is he's not yet, what do they call it? Black-pilled? He's not yet a cynic. And I don't want him to be. I just want honest government. He believes that everybody up there is really trying to act in their own best interest, even when they disagree. We could say he's naive. He hasn't done politics before. But I got a feeling that he's going to read the tea leaves. Where does that come from, by the way? That he's going to catch on. Watch what they're about to do, I think.
Mayor, you just talked for about 5 minutes. I started and we went around, and I didn't really get to say what I wanted to say about the man on the end over there who's done the job. He has an associate's degree. The man, I personally spoke to Jared. You put words in my mouth when you said that we wanted an MPA. I specifically.
Have you ever seen Pat Perno be this aggressive to somebody? Did he ever stand up to Jesse Nelson like this? All of a sudden, meek, nice little Pat Perno. Have you ever seen him get angry like this? Look at Judy Tinder right now. Judy Tinder is shocked. She's like, what is he so pissed about? Judy's been on the dais with him for a long time. She's like, what in the world? Look at Pat Perno. I wish I could screenshot that right there. Hey, screenshot that right there. Have you ever seen, and look, you got the attorney looking back in the audience at whoever he's texting. He put his glasses on for this. Holy smokes. Now Pat Perno's playing indignant.
Quickly told Jared, I don't care if this guy, our city manager, has an MPA. I want him to have the experience on the job. And that's what you need, experience on the job. And we came up with or the equivalent of 15 years experience. That was what I said. And we made that a qualification equal to an MPA. Okay. And I said that I am the proud possessor of an associate's degree only. Okay. I didn't make it all the way through Florida State, but I attended Florida State. Spent a lot of time watching football games instead of going to school. But I ended up working in the hotel business after my dad passed away, and I had to put myself through school. And I'd had to go to school half-time and then try to afford to go to school.
Is that true?
Full-time, but I couldn't afford to go to school as much as I needed to. So I worked a lot, and my grades suffered. And then I ended up making more money in the field I was in than getting my degree. So anyway, long story on me, but in my field, I have a lot of experience. I don't have a degree to show for it, though. In the field of what this band does.
Can you believe these people who commit logical fallacy after logical fallacy, who can barely put a sentence together, who know nothing about government, that they're sitting up there making policy? No wonder you in Lynn Haven, no wonder you have some of the highest, if not the highest, assessments. No wonder they've had the trouble they've had ever since that lawyer on the bottom, Rob Jackson, lied to the FBI. That was his role to get Mayor Margo Anderson indicted, and they tried to put her in prison for 1,000 years. He lied in the 302s. A lot of people lied to the FBI in the 302s, and the FBI loved it. They were all conspiring to get rid of Margo Anderson. Didn't happen, though. Amazing. It's amazing. I feel the hand of Providence was on that.
I'd rack and stack him with anybody with an MPA, and especially the way he treats people. You have an HR background. This guy has brought smiles to the faces of the people who didn't have them on their faces working here before. So I'm of a whole different mindset. And I don't want to.
So Jamie Warwick's reason to hire Lightfoot is he's better than Vicky Gaynor. Now department heads aren't scared to death that they're going to get their heads bit off and they're not being micromanaged. And Pat Perno's reason is that Chris Lightfoot is so nice that the department heads have smiles on their faces. This is their new. It went from master's degree, experience, to they've dropped it to this, and I think they're about to. I bet you he's going to make a. Oops. I bet you he's about to make a motion, and I got cornbread all over my microphone. I bet he's going to make a motion. Watch. His qualifications. He puts smiles on people's faces, Pat says.
I don't want to leave here tonight without at least
A vote.
coming back around. And I'd like to make a motion
Knew it.
that we give Chris Lightfoot a contract to city manager
Watch
and remove the interim title. And
Jamie Warwick's body language.
let's work out a short-term contract with him and make him our city manager.
Look at the lawyer.
I'm going to say a couple things. So first,
Look how
the way I understood it was,
Okay. Damn, this is amazing. Do you remember I said that the lawyer, Rob Jackson, put his glasses on? Look, he knew Perno was going to make that motion, and he had to get ready to start writing it down. Now, Perno took a long time getting around to it, but that's why he put his glasses on. He knew that the motion was going to be made. And here's Jamie is going to act like it's a tough decision, but they've already been given their roles, their assignments in this corrupt operation.
Masters was what was preferred. And if they didn't have it, then they had to back it up with X amount of experience, depending on what level of college that they had.
They're all, instead of finishing the process, they're all making these crazy ass arguments.
To your point about a temporary contract, I'm totally against that.
By the way, no wonder Jamie Warwick, the guy talking, is trying. Earlier in the meeting, he's trying to get rid of public comments. He doesn't want public comments because he knows that that people are not going to like what he's saying and doing. So he's trying to get rid of public comments. Here we go. There's a motion on the floor, but Jamie says, I don't like a short-term contract. And look at the lawyer. The lawyer's writing down that he already knows what's going to happen.
If whoever we decide to hire a city manager, give him a contract.
Let's make him a contract.
Told you.
I'll make a motion. Let's give the guy a contract.
They know.
That we determine.
They got the 3 votes.
And make him city manager.
I wanted to say one more thing. So you weren't, it's probably because you weren't in the seat yet, but
oh my God. I used to say that Sam Peebles plays the dumb blonde. And I wasn't sure because he plays the part so well if he's really dumb or not. But he's a government contractor, he's an IT guy. So I got a feeling Peebles is smart. He just talks like a valley girl, you know? I didn't know, but he's probably like because you weren't in the seat before, it was Mayor Nelson. And that's probably why you don't know, we're about to vote him in.
But when we did the criteria, Gerard had us all have one-on-one interviews and said what basically.
By the way, Gerard, when he says Gerard had us, Gerard was the guy that was carrying out the boxes in the shorts and the tight t-shirt. That goes to a church at Vicky Gaynor, like the church, but Vicky Gaynor hired Gerard as like the personnel director or whatever the hell. And now Peebles is saying, yeah, like the guy with carrying the boxes out when Vicky Gaynor snuck into City Hall with Jennifer Hodges. When Gerard said, you weren't here. I swear to God, the whole mood, man, the coffee. I'm switching the coffee for apple juice as soon as possible. 94 proof. That's the kind of apple juice side.
And gather what all we came together and what we wanted. It was on that sheet when it showed the qualifications that was sent to all of us. And it was, I believe, associate's degree with 15 years of experience, bachelor's degree with 8 years of experience, master's degree with 5 years of experience.
Notice the details all of them have because they all knew that they were going to go against their qualifications. So all of them have very detailed, they all have their scripts. Is Perno texting?
So it wasn't just master's degree. That's just master's degree with 5 years is the same as an associate's with 15. They're equal.
Yeah.
And that's what we came, and we all got sent that as a commission, and we all decided that that was fine.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me because I did not have that data point. I saw you guys were looking for a master's degree or a bachelor's or an associate's with X amount of experiences, but a master's was preferred as what I remember reading on the advertisement.
Look at
Mayor, point of order. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
good point, Jennifer.
We have a motion, but we are discussing. And I honestly,
All right, well, I'll just second it so that we can have discussion legally. There we
So there we go. Look at Jamie Warwick. All of a sudden, Perno and Peebles have become very aggressive. You notice that? They've never been like that. They're always the task. My theory about who's really running Lynn Haven, and I think it's Sheriff Ford. My theory about who's really running Lynn Haven is starting to feel more like it's true. Well, I'll make a second then. Shut up, new mayor. Shut up. I think they all like getting their asses slapped by Jesse Nelson more. They all like being up there when Jesse Nelson would look over and say, be quiet. Do you feel ostracized? Be quiet. And they all loved it. They all like having red marks on their bare bottoms more. I swear to God, these people do. They love being spanked by Jesse Nelson. They miss him. Look at how much they miss him. Bernie, this is why you're not a professional.
go.
okay.
I will add,
Dave Lowry's
as
learning.
this, Chris has been my boss, but I'll point out, he does have certifications. What we talked about earlier.
Wow, she's even got a script. She's even got a script. Jennifer Hodges. She was also in there with Gerard. Remember, Jennifer Hodges is the one that would sneak Vicky Gaynor into City Hall after she was fired. Do you remember all that? And she was in there hugging her, and they were all, Gerard and her, carrying out boxes and boxes of stuff after she was fired. You remember all that? Jennifer Hodges, she's got a script. Let's hear it. Look at Jody Moore. That's the Beacon of Bay County back there. See, that's why they don't like to show the audience, because the audience is just like knows that these people are so crooked.
Earlier in both advanced wastewater and water. To get those licenses and certifications, he's holding an A in one and a C in one. Is that correct, Chris? So that A license is equivalent to over 4 years of study and work.
Yep.
The C license is equivalent to at least 1 year of work plus passing. They
all came in here ready to undermine the process. Do you see what I'm saying? They all came in here with very detailed parts of a script to undermine the process. They did not want the interviews to go down. I thought Lynn Haven was on the verge of correcting itself. It feels to me like Lightfoot and that and this law firm, like if they go, all the secrets are going to get uncovered in Lynn Haven. All the reasons Sheriff Tommy Ford wanted to arrest Margot Anderson and throw her in prison for 1,000 years. So many secrets remain buried, locked up in City Hall. And this is, I just can't. Jamie Warwick is the reason this is happening, because we already know Peebles and Perno. The PP boys over there, we already know what they're going to do. But what in the world do they have on Warwick? Even when he talks and makes arguments, I can see that he knows he's not. I can see that his body language is contradicting the words coming out of his mouth.
all passing very stringent required tests. That's not necessarily seen. It doesn't come with the bachelor's or master's, but the amount of work and the amount of testing and education,
We're all
I would
making
say, has a
arguments.
lot of equivalent context, especially in a municipality.
And just for the record, I am not trying to down anyone for only having an associate's degree. I'm the son and grandson of farmers, and I'm the first person in my family to graduate college. So that is not the issue at all. What I'm saying is there was a preferred master's degree level, and no disrespect intended whatsoever, Commissioner Perno there. That's what I saw as
It
the
was
advertisement.
Exactly as
Um,
Commissioner
So,
said.
and again, I'm not advocating. I like Mr. Lightfoot. I think he's done a hell of a job as interim city manager. Could someone else plug and play and do the job? Probably so. Are there other qualified applicants? Yes. So it's a balance, right?
The point is, you have a process that is about to be aborted.
We're trying to be fair. I didn't start this process. I came in a month ago into this, and you guys were months into it. Just case in point, you will typically see city managers. They come from generally 3 tracks within a city management kind of organizational background. You typically will have cops or a chief of police. You'll have a chief of fire, sometimes a chief of emergency services and public works.
Actually, wait, hold on. Was Chief Lightfoot and Pat Perno texting each other? Were they texting each other? Lightfoot just put his phone down and then did that with his hand. Let's see. Pat Perno has not had a phone in his hand. Every time he looks down, he's got his hands on something else there on his knees. But if he has a phone there, watch Pat Perno and Lightfoot at the very top. Perno's the second from the bottom. Let's see if they glance at each other.
And Chris has done a phenomenal job in the public works area. He was a 23-year-old department head
Possible Perno's fallen asleep, though, too, in fairness.
at Panama City. He was the wonder kid, the Doogie Howser, if you will. So that is definitely one vein.
Looks like he's
One of the other applicants literally has the master's degree. In 15 years, he was a fire chief. And he's been a city manager 3 times over in 3 different states. And not just 1 or 2 years, 3 to 5 years apiece. So we have a wealth of experience. I'm glad Mr. Lightfoot's one of those contenders. But we also have other well-qualified contenders as well. So the conundrum is to try to get this done. Let's close this gap. Let's be transparent and fair about it. Let's have our interviews. And by golly, when we walk out of here on the 16th, we have a new city manager.
Let's walk out tonight.
We have a
with one.
motion and a second.
let's walk
You
out
guys,
tonight.
if the commission doesn't have any more discussion, I'll open it up for the audience. General comments. Miss Sandy.
Look at
I have nothing against Chris.
Jamie Warwick. Do you see Jamie Warwick in the blue in front of the flag? When she walked up, he got so uncomfortable. Jamie Warwick hates public comments more than anybody, just about anybody I've ever seen on a local government. He gets so uncomfortable whenever somebody walks up there to talk.
In fact, I like him. But this is my thought about it. Let's don't just put somebody in there like they did with Kamala Harris when she ran. Let's let this be a process where it gets voted on, talked about. Like you say, there's all kind of people with a lot of.
Hold on. I need to answer Eric here. I don't know Eric, but I've been appreciating the comments. So Eric says, did I really expect anything less? Look, if anybody knows what a Goliath this is, local government, and that you're going to get your ass kicked by the cartel, I have more scars than anybody. But when the effort to recall Mayor Nelson started, those were the same kind of questions, Eric. Did I expect any? Do you really expect he's going to get? When Ricky Ramey, do you really think he's ever going to get fired? Vicky Gant, do you really think? Mark Sheldon, do you really think he's going to lose the election? Brudnicki, do you really think? So here's my answer, Eric, and it's a fair question, man. My answer to you is this. just because I'm probably going to lose, or just because we're probably going to lose in our effort to have honest government, does not absolve us from doing all we can. And we've made some serious progress. So I don't ask myself if they're going to do the right thing or not. I ask myself, am I doing all I can to encourage them to do the right thing? Because what I've learned about these people is if they do the right thing, it's usually for the wrong reasons. And also, I want them to not enjoy their corruption parties nearly as much as they used to. And so, yeah, I guess I always have a little bit of hope, or I wouldn't be able to keep doing it. But again, my philosophy is this. Just because I'm probably going to lose in trying to bring about honest government does not absolve me from doing all I can. That's my best answer. And I'm not getting on you about it. Fair question, man. But that's my answer. People often will say, why are you surprised? You didn't, but why are you surprised? Dude, if anybody's not surprised, it's me. Okay. I know what these people are capable of. I know a lot more than I tell you. But that's not the question for me. The question is, am I doing my part? And if more people do their parts, even more will get done. And it'll be even less fun if they win. That's my best answer. Sorry for the long answer.
Degrees, a lot of experience. I don't have a degree of any kind. And I beat out people with master's degrees. So I'm like Pat, it doesn't matter to me if he has a master's degree, but let the people
The process.
make the choice, not just push somebody in there, is my opinion.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. Corey, I saw Corey first, then Bashir. Then Jody.
This is absolutely unbelievable.
Hey, again, I think watch Perno and Lightfoot. Are they texting each other? Now, this guy here, I never know what he's going to say. I like him, Corey Langford. He's the chairman of the Charter Review Commission, a committee that they have. It's an advisory committee of citizens. And I always really appreciate what he has to say. I've disagreed with him a few times, but I have respect for Corey Langford. See what he says here. I hope I agree with him this time, for goodness sake.
You guys made a commitment to follow a process.
Yes. Thank you,
to
Corey.
hire an individual.
Thank you.
It's the fourth quarter now, and you guys are like, we're done. We're impatient.
Perfect.
We want to leave this process that you all agreed on and do something completely different.
Perfect, Corey.
I'm going to leave it at that, reference the process. But since we're here, let's go on and talk about everything now.
Yes.
All right.
Been waiting for it.
There's some questions that I got that I planned on hearing responses to during the interview process. But based on your motion and your second, we're potentially about to not even get to that point based on what y'all vote on tonight. So now I'm going to state my question.
Thank you.
What I'm about to say is probably going to be a little bit controversial, but I want to hear a response because this is now the hiring process.
Yep.
If James Finch would not have sued the city of Lynn Haven, Chris Forehand would not have been deposed. If Chris Forehand wouldn't have been deposed, the allegations of bid rigging wouldn't have come up.
That's right.
When the allegations of bid rigging come up, two individuals, both of which are sitting in this room tonight, stated, allegedly, that it happened. This is all during the meetings, okay?
Yep.
Here's my question.
Testimony, too.
Why did it take somebody being deposed under oath to come forward and say something? And I've already heard it, and I'm not buying it, that I was afraid to get fired. I need to hear from Mr. Life, and I like Mr. Life. He's a great dude, great guy. He and I
So what he's talking about is Lightfoot. Okay. Chris Forehand was deposed in a lawsuit by James Finch. Chris Forehand said, yes, I and Vicky Gaynor conspired to bid rig against James Finch. Vicky told me I had a choice, the city manager. He said under oath in a deposition that if I didn't do it, I wouldn't get any more business with the city. Okay. So then Finch deposed Chris Lightfoot. It's public. My God. And Chris Lightfoot said, yeah, Vicky did that. And Chris Forehand was telling the truth. Can you think of any reason? No, I can't. I mean, it's just Vicky Gaynor. And then you had others, Bobby Baker and others. They all confirmed it. Vicky Gaynor's the only one saying, they're lying. They always lie. All right. That's her testimony, by the way, yesterday. They're lying. Everybody's lying but me. That's her testimony yesterday under oath. She's been deposed. So what Corey Langford is saying is, why in the world won't any of you tell the truth and do the right thing unless you're put under oath in a courtroom? Why is it so hard to get you guys to tell the damn truth? And now he says, all right, I like you. You know I like you, Chris. Chief Lightfoot. But to call the process off in the fourth quarter is unacceptable. So now I got a tough question for you. Here it is.
I disagree fundamentally on some stormwater stuff. But since we're now having a public hiring process right now, this is what I wanted to hear get explained. And now we're here. You opened a can of worms.
Thank you.
So now we're going to need to hear what went on. I need an answer of, had I had it to do all over again, this is what I would have done differently, and this is why.
Perfect.
That's what I'm looking for. To not only calm my concerns.
Look, he's the chairman of the Charter Review Committee.
But I'm not the only one asking the question, okay? But the can of worms is opened now because you all wanted to completely alienate the process that you all agreed on to hire the city manager. But now we're going to throw it all out the water and just hire one tonight. Appreciate it.
So just for the record, I seconded it so that we could talk about it and not be a point of like Miss Morse.
Look, Sam, when you seconded it, you did it emotionally. Everybody's going to go back and watch. See, these people respect Corey Langford. And they don't want him upset because they know that from what I've seen, I've talked to him and I like him and I respect him from what I know. But evidently, when he talks, he carries weight. Their conscience is eating at them now. When Bernie Thompson says it, they don't care. But Corey Langford is a man of weight. He's a man of substance.
I just seconded it so we could talk about it. Just saying.
And if I may respond immediately to Mr. Corey's statements.
Yes, sir.
What had happened?
You know,
what had happened?
We've been looking for a city manager since July, and the man's taken over since then. And to me, yes, his interview started then, and since July, he's proved himself and over. And that's why at the point we're at right now, that's why I wanted to move forward and select him as our city manager. Well, for what it's worth, you know, if it was your first week on the job and something like that happened, I don't know. I mean, would you be the whistleblower? I mean, I'm sure you've got a high moral compass and you would say yes. So, you know.
Oh, snapdragons. They just, Pat Perno. Look at Perno's body language. Let me show you the difference between a man who is going to look you in the eye and a man who's going to ask a question and then go, oh, he got up. Oh my God, he got up. Hey, would you blow the whistle? Huh? Would you tell everybody there's criminal acts going on around here? Would you blow the whistle while you're watching people be wrongly prosecuted and they're trying to throw them in prison for life over fake, bogus charges? Would you blow the whistle? These people, that lawyer on the bottom there, Rob Jackson, he lied to the FBI. He lied to the FBI in a 302 about Margot Anderson, trying to throw in prison for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. These people, not all of them, but nobody stood up when they knew the truth. They knew Vicky Gaynor was bid rigging with Chris Lightfoot. They knew it. And Pat Perno just said, would you tell the truth if you knew, if you're brand new on the job? And boy, Corey Lightfoot, sorry, Corey, I always forget his name. I do this all the time. What is it? Well, somebody put his last name, Corey, please forgive me. I've just been sitting here saying I respect you. And Corey Langford, Langford Lightfoot. Okay, that was, it doesn't work like it used to. All right. That wasn't, now I don't feel so bad. Langford Lightfoot. Okay. So Corey Langford gets up. Look at how he's looking. This is how I always know, not always, but this is a great tell to find out who's telling the truth. Who's looking you right in the face, not blinking, and who's doing the rocking the chair and doing the body language, making snarky comments, doing the faux outrage. I'll tell you who goes up there and looks you right. A couple of ladies, the Beacon ladies, Christy McElroy, they go up there and look you right in the face because they know they're telling the truth. Corey Langford knows something's going on right now, and we're not in on it. And if you ask me, am I going to blow the whistle and do the right thing? Ooh, here he comes.
That's you. I'm not the person involved here, but you're slinging the heat. So I'm just no.
You're slinging the heat. Look at the attorney. Look at Rob Jackson's body language. This is what he didn't want to have happen. Just were they messed up? Well, they're still going to do it, I'm sure, because they have an assignment. But what Rob Jackson is saying right now, like if this was a deposition, just answer the effing question and don't go on these tangents. Like Lex Wessner did the other. Just answer the question, man. Don't go on the slinging the heat. Once he said slinging the heat, Rob Jackson's got all up. Oh, not again. Slinging the heat, Pat, that's what you call saying finish the process you started? Slinging the heat, huh? Take it away, Corey Langford.
When what I know from what I've seen in the last 8 months, the man's doing the job. We need someone to do the job. He's willing to do the job. He's even said for a year at the salary he's making. He's also utilities and public works. I'm sure if we brought in a city manager, we'd be looking for public works and utilities after that as well. I'm sure he's viable enough to walk out and get a job, in the near future. Pat. So
the process,
knowing everything I know and what's in the pipeline for who we have to select, I've only had one person in mind, and he's right at the end of the table. So call me shallow, myopic, whatever you want to call me.
So defensive.
That's my answer. So.
No, not name calling at all. I just want you to interview everyone, all of the qualified candidates.
I never agreed to do that. I only had one. I never picked 5. I only picked 1.
That's my point. They weren't all qualified. You
all of the applicants.
Yep.
Whatever we want to say. There might be somebody out there who's just the most amazing city manager ever, but we're not going to hear from that individual if they exist. But to answer your question, would I have said something? Absolutely.
How are they all making arguments? Look at their body language, the 3 of them. Perno, Peebles, and Warwick. Who do they really work for? Who's giving them their marching orders? Who's leaning on them? Yeah. Would you blow the whistle? Yeah, we got to hear the answer.
Absolutely, because I've been in that position before.
And I know you would have.
It's a tough
Yeah.
position to be in, and it hurt, and it hurt a lot. But I did what was right, and I lay my head down on my pillow every night because I know I did exactly what was right.
Man,
Mr. Bashir, I saw your hand up. Are you deferring to your wife, General Bashir? Okay, and then Jerry Parker.
Michelle,
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You are Jody. Oh, go ahead, ma'am. Jody, and then Miss Parker.
Michelle Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue. Before you were mayor, I sent a long letter to the commissioners. I got only one response. That was from Sam Peoples. But ask about transparency. And since FDLE has come out with their judgment on the bid rigging accusations, y'all have not made any comment about the outcome of that. And the outcome of it is that there was no bid rigging that they could find. And there's no criminal charges going to be pressed against.
her name is Vicky Gaynor. But yeah, surprise, FDLE, where Sheriff Tommy Ford's from, FDLE and all of the law enforcement folks, they didn't find any wrongdoing. Boy, they are classifying themselves in real time.
The former city manager. So that makes me wonder the credibility of the three people who made those accusations. And, you know, I don't know how to speak to y'all. None of y'all like me. I know that. And
Like me either, by the way.
I'm not getting any feedback. I've sent 2 letters and I've gotten no feedback. And to me, this is not transparency to not announce the outcome of the FDLE investigation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I need to get a hold of that too, so I can tell you about it.
You don't get to ride. You got to wait in line. You gave her your turn.
I'll wait for
You gave her your turn. You got Jody and then Gap, and then you can do it. Come on up, Mr. Moore.
I got to call it. I don't want to.
It's okay going after Johnny. It's cold in here. Amen to Corey for what he said. I mean, I totally agree. I think, you know, you have to do the right thing. I think ethics and, you know, your morality really matters. And I think that has to be looked at as well. You know, I just want to bring up something too. When it comes to the scoring, okay, well, first of all, you said there are 2 candidates. Okay, the 2 viable candidates in your view. So let's look at those 2 candidates. All right. But Pat only scored 1 person, and that was Chris. Pat, you know, I think you're doing a disservice to the citizens of the city when you only score 1 person. I think you need to look at everybody. I think, you know, look at all the qualifications. I didn't know anything about the gentleman that you just brought up, but he sounds like a very viable candidate here. And look, I appreciate that Chris came in a difficult situation when the city, you know, after, you know, Vicky got fired and all that stuff happened, you know, and I'm glad that he's calmed, you know, the people in the city, that the workers here feel better. But quite frankly, you know, like my opinion, after Vicky Gaynor, Chris Lightfoot probably looks like King Arthur coming in here. Okay, anybody would look good. All right, so you can have someone else who would potentially do a great job. Chris does have a lot to speak for him, but I've got a lot of problems with the way this process is played out. Also, I finally got a chance to look at the scoring sheet. There are 2 of the candidates that are listed at the bottom, and there's notes made about them, not the other ones. And they were derogatory comments that were made at the bottom of the sheet. Why was that released? I don't like that. That shouldn't have happened.
By Gerard, by the way, the guy carrying the boxes out for Gaynor when she snuck back in.
I feel like this is all being pushed in Chris's direction, and that's not the way this needs to go.
So when I say she snuck back in, she had the help of Jennifer Hodges, and brought her back in. And then the city said, oh, and then she came back in a second time. I did reports on this. And they said, oh, but Chris Lightfoot was with her the entire time. Another lie. I showed video from the security cameras inside City Hall that showed that was a lie.
Needs to go in a fair manner, and you have to look at the whole picture. And I'm sorry, Pat, I just think you're doing the wrong thing here when you only score one.
We know Pat wants to do it now, but the question is, what is the hell is wrong with the process, guys? We already know Pat will I just want one guy only, one guy ever. We already know Pat, but the other two guys, government contractors, Sam People and Jamie Warwick, they're the guys who always say, let's take our time. Let's not rush. Let's see all the facts. Tonight, it's completely the opposite. The biggest burning question of the night, and I don't know the answer, is why? Why are they doing that?
That did a disservice to the other candidates that you couldn't even give a 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was also not right for the rest of the commission. If you have a candidate who is qualified as a city manager, has been a city manager, and Chris has a lot of experience. I understand that. But he has not been a city manager for years and years. If you got someone who has a degree and also is willing to take less money, why wouldn't you consider that person? As far as the interview process, I'm with Judy. Why are we having these secret Zoom,
exactly,
interviews or in person? Why not have it all here in public or have a special meeting, have all the candidates come forward and like you said, take the phones away so there's no sneaky, behind the scenes kind of stuff. And if somebody cannot come in person, you have these big screens in here. You can have a Zoom interview. And maybe that's not fair to them, but you know what? Don't pay for them to come. They can pay for themselves. If they really want the job, they can come down here or they can do it by Zoom. Anyway, my opinion.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Parker.
I got to call this quits soon. God.
All right, let's talk about the lawsuit with Chris Forehand and the bid rigging.
Jerry Parker.
Chris?
Oh, boy.
Bobby? Did y'all not give a deposition? Was it truthful?
Yep.
Bobby, was it truthful? What you said? There you go. Bid rigging was correct.
Look at Jamie Warwick again.
Y'all have got to start doing your due diligence. What's going on right now is not right. Not right at all. Let's get this stuff done. Mayor, I comply with your March 16th. Let's get that done. Let's go and get it done. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting out of hand. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Now, Mr. Bashir and Mr. Detweiler next.
Okay, a couple of things. First, the FDLE has declined to bring charges against Vicky Gaynor for bid rigging. So they did not find sufficient cause to bring charges for bid rigging. Call it what you want, but that's the official status. They've returned her property to the city or the city's property to the city. There's no charges. Now that said, let's talk about the process. I do think y'all need to go through the process and interview these different people. I like Chris too. I drove a Ford for years. I love it.
Look at this. Bashir's and I are in agreement. That's easy. Mr. Bashir's, these are great public comments. I think that you're brilliant on this point. Go ahead.
Dearly. Then I drove a Toyota. I've never driven another Ford. You don't know what you're missing till you look at everything. And you've got to look at people and compare them and see who's going to be best for that. And that's what you need to do. I understand. Chris, y'all know Chris. You like Chris. He's doing a good job. But we don't know what we might turn down if we don't bring somebody else in and interview them. We really need to follow the process. I think you're going to lose a lot of ground with the citizens in the city if you don't follow the process also.
Mr. Bashir's, I mean, this guy is good, is he not? Just because we've disagreed in the past doesn't mean I can't say this is absolutely perfect.
But I think that's an important thing to consider, that people expect it to be transparent and that they're going to see this, and this feels too backroom.
It is
the way this is playing out.
That is very backroom. Good point.
One of the criteria, I worked in the industry for years and years, And the criteria for managers, for people as they moved up, were how many direct reports they had, how many people they had reporting to them, and how that structure was done. Did HR stuff, and it's kind of built around that. So you have to consider what that looks like too with the people. And I know you have a list of qualifications that were put out, and you just got to compare people to it and make the choice of who fits better. It may be Chris, it may be somebody else. I like Chris, but you need to look at those and you need to follow the process. I will go along with Corey on that. The process is important, and you need that transparency for people to see that it's been followed. Lastly, the 16th really won't be a drop-off date. You may select somebody there, but correct me if I'm wrong, you're still going to have to negotiate salaries and that's the type of thing. So it's not going to be on the 17th, you're going to have a new city manager. You've got to go through that rest of that process after you make your selection. I would recommend getting that down to 2 people instead of 4 or 5. I don't see a real reason to consider that many, because it sounds to me like y'all have already picked the top 2. Get them in here and interview them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I like your metaphor about Ford and Toyota.
Hey, listen, I want to go home. I started this damn thing, 2 hours and 5 minutes ago? I just need them to vote, so I find out we need a resolution here. I can't stop before we find out. Well, Bernie, if you stop talking, you'll find out fast.
That's what you call country boy logic. Corey can understand too. Come on up, Mr. Detweiler.
This is one of the 5. I think he was one of the candidates. He's the guy who led the recall.
Good evening. Since this might be my only opportunity to interview, let me go ahead and discuss my actual resume.
Wow.
So I did not work for FEMA, nor did I ever contract for FEMA. I worked for a private contractor called Tetra Tech, the same company that was hired by this city, the county, Springfield.
What I've noticed is that these commissioners, Warwick, Peebles, and Perno, they have these little talking points against the people like who have applied. They keep lying and painting the applicants in a bad light. It's really, I just don't, it feels like, I don't want more lawsuits, but it does feel like there's legal liability with what they're doing. It's like they get fed by the dumpster diver or somebody. They get fed, say this about him, say this about him. That's what it feels like. And Zach Detweiler, one of the candidates for city manager, is setting the record straight.
Parker and Callaway for Hurricane Michael. We came in immediately after the storm, not 10 days later, not 30 days later, not with cushy accommodations or anything else like that. We were here day 1. That is what I did for 15 years. I flew into the eyes of storms. I stood up projects.
So I do have to address this. I didn't want to, but Tim Sewell, of course, knows too much. Okay. Tim Sewell, who has been, ever since I got here in 2007, has been telling me to learn about local politics. Leave it to Tim to keep me here longer. Tim, I need some vitamin C. I need some apple juice. Tired of the coffee. This is ridiculous. Okay. So, yes, Tetra Tech was working with Forehand. Forehand was one of the vice presidents during the FEMA cleanup. It was I think it was in charge of counting or weighing. It was corrupt as hell. It was all over the indictments. I cannot tell you because I don't know what's public and what's not. Yes, Zach Detweiler worked for Tetra Tech during that time. Tetra Tech was corrupt, but not all of the people who worked at Tetra Tech were. And some of the people, I can say, were trying to get things corrected. That's about all I can tell you, okay? But I have looked into Zach and find him to be outstanding. And they should have listened to him. All right, let's get on it.
Multi-million-dollar projects that had anywhere from 50 to 500 employees on them. We had hiring events where we would hire 80 people at a time, and I was in charge of training them. I was in charge of hiring them. I was in charge of managing them. I have managed over $100 million in projects myself. I have assisted with over $1 billion in projects myself. In Campfire, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's where Paradise, California burned down. It's right outside of Chico. It was the fire that basically took away most of your FEMA funding. It happened about a month after the hurricane. I was out there as the logistics manager for that storm. We outlaid $8 million in logistics a week, and I was in charge of it. To say that I don't work with municipalities or that I don't have that experience is not accurate. I've worked with over 40 cities and counties to manage their programs. I have managed everything from debris cleanup to grants management.
I'm going to say on the record, on my show, what kind of record is that, Bernie? That's my choice for city manager right there, Zach Detweiler. That's my choice. I know what he's willing to say if he sees some corruption. All right. That's my choice. Plus he's man, that guy's thorough. Yeah, that's my choice.
To project setup, I have written policy. I have appealed policy. I've appealed policy to the point in Louisiana that they rewrote the entire federal policy on private property debris removal because of my appeals. I beat them so badly that they took out every stipulation that I used against them so it couldn't be used against them again.
Look at Jamie Warwick and Peebles. They're like, yeah, but Lightfoot makes everybody smile. And we got to get it done now. Okay? Zach, those are some good qualifications, but Lightfoot makes everybody smile after Vicky Gaynor. We got to vote now.
I understand state policy. I understand federal policy. And what you need in a city manager right now is someone who isn't going to look at the 1 year. They're going to look at the 10 year, the 15 year, because you have such large amounts of capital outlay projects that you need to be performed right now. You have to have someone looking at 10 years ahead. Your assistant city manager is who needs to be looking at the day-to-day. And we can go into restructuring. And
I don't even look at 10 minutes ahead, to be honest. I'm such a gunslinger. Like, what? Well, let's do it now. Squirrel.
How all that looks. But fundamentally, you need somebody who can look long-term. And so Mr. Rory probably has that experience. I have that experience. I'm not sure about Ms. Hall, but she may have that experience. But to not interview would be an injustice to this city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at Jamie
You want to
Warwick.
say something, Ms. Stender?
Oh, snap. Here comes Christy McElroy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
I must say on the record, I always appreciate Christy McElroy's uniforms. I mean, they just are perfect. Put her in charge of just contract it out. Yeah, she'll give you the right price and let her have uniforms for everybody. Now watch, I'll tell you the truth about her. Watch the way she looks at them. She comes up and I'm not going to interrupt her again. She's about to dress their asses down.
Y'all created a process. This is an insult to all the 80 people that put forth
That's right.
a resume to y'all to go through the resumes, rank the resumes, and make some decisions on who you want to bring back.
Exactly.
Now, I live in Tallahassee and have a house in Port St. Joe. But due to your corruption and your crooked ex-attorney, Adam Albritton, that's why I started coming here, because he was our crook over in Port St. Joe. I was a national director for a biotech company. My accountability in the contract that I held was $1 billion from 10 billion worldwide Amgen revenues. So when I hired someone, I darn sure wanted to make sure I went through everything. And I made sure that the process wasn't fair, but was legal and right. And you need to ask your attorney right now, you try to make a decision tonight, what are you setting yourself up for? I'd be embarrassed right now. And I'm glad Zach showed up. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm sick and tired of seeing municipalities act like you're running a goat rodeo. We're not military. And you need to get grounded in what you're here for.
She is.
Anyone else?
You know,
Public comment.
I'm going to make a suggestion,
Oh.
and this is doable. Okay. When she walks up and when she walks away, there should be it's like an anthem that plays. I mean, there has to be like a theme song. All right. When she walks up, just the music hits. And when she finishes, a cymbal smash and she walks out and everybody just stand up, including the people that she just laid into who know that she's right. Damn, Christy. Can you guys vote so I can leave?
You want to go ahead and speak, Julie?
Oh, God, not more.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, of course.
On up, Miss Sandy.
Want more public comments? Oh, of course. Sorry, Ms. Garman. Yeah, Miss Sandy. Okay. Yes.
I had no idea that Zach had applied for city manager. So he just spoke.
Yeah, we want Zach.
He is one of the most hardworking, dignified, smart person I've ever met in my life. And I've met a lot of people.
Discipline.
I've seen his dedication when he wants to get something done. Like he was head of the recall for the last mayor. He didn't just get people to go out and do it for him. He was there every single time. He loves this city. I can't believe that he was not allowed to interview.
He's in the top 4.
You are?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I didn't understand that. I thought he wasn't going to be.
Yeah, but Miss Sandy, Pat Perno here and Peebles and Warwick, they're trying to end it tonight. They want to make sure Zach never gets an interview. They want to call the game in the 4th quarter. They want to change the rules because let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this. Do you think that if Zach Detweiler and Chris Chief Lightfoot, do you think that if they interviewed and they were asked questions, who do you think's going to shine? You're going to find out that there are levels of professional ability and qualifications. And making everybody smile after Vicky Gaynor left, I mean, it's just not the top one is what I'm saying.
Interviewed. He's somebody you really need to listen to because he is a fantastic human being.
I'll say.
Thank you. Commissioner Tender.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to say, no matter what anybody thinks, this gentleman here has bent over backwards for me with every request I have made since he stepped up. He comes to the cafe, brings me the agenda. He goes out of his way to help me be the commissioner that I want to be. And when I called you today. I got the answer instantly. I was able to call back the resident right away. So in that light, he has done everything, everything that's been asked of him, I believe. However, I have to say that I think we would look foolish. Foolish to the community and everybody. If we don't go through with these interviews.
Got to finish the 4th quarter.
Jennifer, you said yesterday, or I don't believe it was you, I believe it was Gerard, said that we couldn't go through with the interviews tomorrow because one commissioner couldn't make it?
No, we had a couple of conflicts.
Of commissioners that couldn't make it. And so you just sent the email out at 4:30 on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I really feel that we need to be transparent about this. We need to do it on the 16th. Take the 4 phones, put them up here, have each person come and interview in front of all of us at one time. And to your concern, Mayor, you were talking about having residents be there to watch and listen and all of that. For me, I would, if I had to pick a resident to come and watch what was going on, I'd want them with the candidate. I would want them with the candidates. So I know that that candidate told everybody the same thing. Whereas if we do it the way we did it before and have them come here in the public, one at a time, we'll see what they're doing. We'll see how they interact. You know, I mean, we don't need the public. They can be here and watch, but at the same time, we can do that ourselves. We can see how they interact. I think we would look foolish if we didn't go through with these interviews on the 16th.
Of course.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor, but Commissioner Tender, I agree with you. I really feel we have to go through. We owe it. There were, I believe it was actually 98 applicants, not 80. And I spent an entire weekend reviewing every single one of them. We really need to go through the final four, but I think, and of course we need to go through and we need to have a vote here on this proposal, this motion that's been seconded. But if that does not pass, then my point going forward is a compromise. To Commissioner Peebles' point, instead of doing the 16th and then having a final second volley, I hear the frustration. I hear Commissioner Perno's, for gosh sakes, let's just get this done, right? Let's just go back to the 16th. Instead of the 1 and 2 tier, we have 4 final candidates. We're not going from 5 to 2 or 5 to 3. We've got our final 4.
And 3 of them are local.
3 of them are local.
Did
Let's
Jimmy
get the
work
4th
again?
one in here. Let's have a no kidding public interview. Let's figure out the logistics of making that right and fair and transparent and legal. And let's go ahead and pitch that on the 16th. That'll give us 3 weeks roughly to get this done. Let's plan our work our plan, give those 4 folks a fair hearing. They all have great backgrounds and qualifications, or they wouldn't have gone from 98 to 4. Let's hear them out, and then we'll transparently make our pick. And whoever gets the majority votes, the 3 of the 5 or 4 of the 5 or 5 of the 5 will be the first selectee. We probably need to select that 2 up. And I think it was Johnny Bashir brought it up. You're not going to get somebody immediately that night. We have a primary and we have a secondary. So if the primary doesn't accept or the contract terms don't, we have a second in place. You have a lady in waiting per se. And let's just get this done on the 16th and at least have a clear final decision. That's my thoughts. Any other commission before we go to a roll vote?
Yeah. So just want to say again, we just had a whole discussion on the town hall and how we want people to be able to talk. Ms. Moore came up here and had a point of order. So I seconded it so we could talk. So I don't understand how we're the bad guy for doing that. Okay. Like we just got blasted for giving people a chance to talk about it.
I swear to God, he's the dumb blonde. That's Sam Dumb Blonde Peebles.
I don't get it.
Can you imagine? Oh, so it's my fault now. You know how you get in an argument with somebody like your spouse, and they say, oh, so it's my fault now. I'm going to start using that, by the way. Honey, did you not see the trash can? Oh, so it's my fault now. Can I tell you a really quick story? It reminds me of the fellow who came home from work. And he sits on the couch and his wife brings him a beer and he grabs the remote control and he's flipping the channels. And he says, hey, babe, can I get another one before it starts? He's flipping the channels. And she brings him another beer and he chugs it and flipping the channels. Says, can I get you another? She goes, you have not yet paid the bills. You haven't brought in the trash. And he says, it's starting. Is she laughing? Is she laughing? All right. They're going to vote on it now, I guess. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Because I have to. I mean, you think I'm going to sit here for 2.5 hours? Do you know, I don't get paid enough for this. I swear to God, I don't get paid. Anyway, what are you talking about? I do have to thank sponsors. Let's do it real quick, and then we'll get to it.
Strong, effective leadership. 3 words that could mean the difference between prison and your freedom. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. Please vote on this. Let's go.
All right. That being said, if we can agree, because it's not fair to Mr. Lightfoot and the other candidates to continue to wait, if we can agree that by, I don't know, we have one more meeting in between now and the 16th, right? Or at least another commission meeting. What's today's date?
We'll have the second.
If we can, I don't know, put it on the agenda that we drill down exactly how we're going to do it on the 16th, and we can promise
It's
to all
already
the
a second.
candidates, you will have an answer on the 16th. I'll withdraw my second.
Ooh.
But
Oh, Jamie Work.
if not, and it's
Jamie Work pulled the microphone to him. Look. Oh, what's Jamie going to do? Look, Lightfoot's like, I feel it slipping away. And at the bottom, you got Rob Jackson, the attorney, going, I'm going to have to lie to an FBI agent again. I'm going to have to get somebody thrown in prison for this. Look, Rob Jackson, who lied to the FBI about Margot Anderson leaning back. Lightfoot feels it slipping away, and Pat Perno again has fallen asleep.
going to draw on longer. I'm going to leave it, and we're going to make a decision tonight because I'm tired of freaking waiting.
Oh, he said frick.
So that's where I'm at.
Yes.
To that point, Jennifer, you're a career HR lady yourself. You got a lot of experience here. And I'm curious your thoughts on us transitioning from the two.
Look at the top. You've got Chris Lightfoot is now thinking, damn, I'm going to have to call and cancel the new car deal. I might not get this job, he's saying.
Phase to just a one phase public. Final four, let's interview and get this done. Any first blush thoughts for the commission?
He's got the mic ready to go.
It's your all's process, whatever you want. I mean, it can be done that way. This was trying to minimize the number of people that might be brought in. But it's whatever the commission desires, we can set up the process.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but what recommendations do you have for us if we're going to do an all hands on deck approach on the 16th of March? What is your process recommendation there?
Well, because you're worried about sharing the questions, one option you can do is you each have a set of questions that you bring forward and we publicize the questions. So it's not unknown what the questions are going to be. So basically the candidate is going to respond to the questions that you have, made. These are going to be the questions that we ask. Maybe you don't ask all of them, but they're ready with what it is. Or you ask them to do a presentation on a particular topic, or how would they step into the job of city manager? What would be their first 180 days? What would be some of the top picks? They can do an actual presentation, and then you all could do follow-up questions. I've seen that done. Again, it's your process. What's important to you all is how you should organize and detail out that process.
Are you finished? My question my thoughts are, if you have predetermined questions, I think we would be opening a can of worms. I think that we all have different questions, and I don't see any.
By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, would you at least do that? I mean, 2.5 hours into this. It helps. You know why I ask you that? Because I'm vain. It's not why. Because more people see it. Like if you hit like or you share, you comment, it really, really helps us get the word out. Because WMBB, WJH, you know what I mean? So if you would just be able to help me.
Issue with asking those of the same person, because Jamie may say, what makes you feel you're qualified? I may say, I can't even say it with a straight face. I just think there are different questions to be asked. And I think having it in the public, seeing how they answer to all of us is very, very important. And I think seeing their body language and everything else is so important. And to have, when you first talked about residents, this would cure the whole thing. This place could be full of people if they wanted to sit and watch the process, and I see nothing wrong with that.
Amen.
And I don't know. I just think we should do it. I think we should do it on the
Attorney Rob
16th. I
Jackson,
think we should do it
bottom.
so we don't look silly,
That's right.
because this is way, way silly. I agree with Corey. We have gone like overboard on this big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we have a
There we go.
motion we need to sort out here, or, once we get this settled,
Perno was
I
just
think
on his
we should
phone.
really
Perno
nail
was just on
down,
his phone. What are you doing there, Pat?
if we're going to go forward with the interview, we really need to give Jennifer some guidance tonight, because she's going to have to tell all 4 applicants, well, 2 of them are in the room, 2 of them are not, what they need to prepare for, whether it's a cold interview or if they got to do a presentation, whatever y'all prefer there. And so that I kind of see being the wrap up piece. here
Rob
too.
Jackson, the attorney, wants to talk. What?
Since this was kind of, this was not on the agenda for us to talk about this when we walked in. So my suggestion is let's think about it, and then have
all of a sudden, dumb blonde Peebles. Now all of a sudden he wants to think about it. Before it was like, we got to act now. Look, they feel it slipping away. Well, like when I was a Valley girl, now we're gonna have to talk about it more. Look, Sam, nice guy. But you're begging for this. You're begging for the criticism. This is unbelievable, man. Like, this is above your pay grade, dude. Like, this is ridiculous. You should not be doing this thing. This little moonlighting as a commissioner thing. But, you know, people voted you in, so, you know, then there's that. I mean, you're right about that. It's so hard to watch. I'm sorry, back to like Sam.
because if we're doing the 16th, would the meeting, if you came prepared to give us options on the meeting before that, is that enough time?
Yes, however, I won't be here on the 10th.
Oh, okay.
Jeez,
I mean, we could do it like we have been doing it. The cumbersome issue is always working within the sunshine. In other words, I can send out to everybody. I have a whole bank of possible questions you might want to ask.
But my possible question is the Woodford Reserve still on the shelf at home? And how much is left? And would they please let me get to it, for God's sake? I mean, before the shaking starts, I gotta, you know.
That's just generic possible questions. It doesn't mean you have to ask those questions. They may be prompters for you. You all could decide, you each get 3 to 5 questions. Again, that's what the mayor is saying. You've got to kind of orchestrate the plan. It's easy to set up the logistics and to set up how to do it. But
have you ever seen a dumber commission? A dumber commission that can't make a decision. There are 412 cities in Florida. They are the dumbest. And as a double whammy, the absolute least decision-making capability. And when you add on absolute cowards, I guess that's a triple whammy.
this is not my plan. This is your plan.
Talking like a children.
But we can do it through emails. Just remember to respond only to me, and I'll try to do the best to make it a coalesce it together into some kind of process.
And you cannot be a liaison. That's also a sunshine violation. Just so you know, Jennifer. Okay. You cannot be a liaison. Make a decision tonight. Look at Pat Perno. Pat Perno. Oh, Chris Lightfoot's finally, look, he's up there going, shit, I lost it. And yeah, Jamie's past the kidney stone, it looks like already. For a while there, it was touch and go.
If that's
With the sunshine, a general direction from the 5 of us tonight would be very helpful for Jennifer.
Yes.
If we're going to do the project presentation, let's at least agree on that and a topic, right?
They won't be able to make
And then
a
all
decision
five
till
can give their
tomorrow.
project. My vision of Lynn Haven in the next 10 years or whatever that is, right?
Well, my point is that
Oh,
I haven't been given time to think about
now he needs
what
time.
process I want because this was sprung on us tonight. So you expect me to make a knee-jerk reaction on how we want to do?
Oh, so it's my fault now. Oh my God. It went from we got to do it now to I need more time. I have to keep going. I cannot stop the show until there's a vote.
This.
That's fair.
We have a motion that we have to go through first before we decide that.
Right, Jamie, thing.
Well, but what I'm saying though is I can just rescind my second.
No, he's got to rescind his
Okay.
in order for it to die.
Okay.
What?
And so you can ask him, but I don't think he will. But
I don't know if that's the rule.
Let's
Oh.
vote.
If there's no other discussion
vote
amongst
this
the commission,
You want to put it
Mr.
on?
Lightfoot, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles,
No.
Commissioner Warwick,
It fails.
no.
It fails.
Commissioner Tender,
No.
Mayor Lowry.
So
Mayor Lowry pulled that off. I don't even want to. I'm done. Bye. No more. You can watch the rest. How the hell do I get out of here? Holy smokes. You talk about a Hail Mary, like 2-minute quarterback, Roger Staubach type drill. Mayor Lowry saved that. That was some masterful, whatever you did. I don't even know what he did. And I study this. I mean, that was a sure 3-2 vote. I thought they were going to do it yesterday when the meeting was started. Oh my God, that was amazing. I don't know how that happened, and I don't want to think about it anymore, to be honest with you. I do want to thank the Unknown Patriot, though, for your support, as always. I should tell you, if you've been trying to reach me, this is how you can do it. It also supports the show. No, if you want my undivided attention for 30 minutes or an hour, that's how you can get it. And I have to. I mean, undivided attention for 30 minutes or an hour. Calendly.com/Bernie Thompson. Those of you who have done this know this is the way to go. And we've done some good things with it too, by the way. Those who have. Also, thank you to those who have thrown a tip in the tip jar at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's easy. It's anonymous. You can quit at any time. And it's only $5 a month. God, that's the cheapest thing on the internet. I usually say the best $5, but I just think it's right now probably the cheapest thing on the internet. Anything else I'm supposed to tell you before I go? All right, I got to get out of here.
You have to have faith. You have to believe that we're in control of our own destiny. That you can save me, that I can save you. You have to have faith that any